I think most of you know. There was a parody of the Last Supper. That time when Jesus gave us the sacrament of the Eucharist. Well, let's remember that beautiful painting by Leonardo da Vinci. A parody of the Last Supper. The scene that is etched in all of our minds of Jesus with his disciples, giving them the bread and the wine. Do this in memory of me. And so what happens? That's offensive. Jesus is offensive. It was planned. It was planned. We have to get Jesus out of the way. We have to get the church out of the way. And maybe the best way we can do it is to mock religion, is to mock the Christ, is to mock the Eucharist. This is the way we introduce the new world order. Get God out of the way. And so you have at the Olympics, oh, the Olympics, aren't they beautiful? What a testament to young athletes, to their coaches. What a beautiful scene it is to see something like that. And it's exactly in that context, something that should be good and wholesome, that the devil makes himself present. And so you have drag queens mimicking the Last Supper. Drag queens. And this is all about equality, respect, for whom? Oh, we're woke. LGBTQ. Here we are. What are we doing? We're mocking the Eucharist. Mocking the Eucharist. And that's okay. No, it's not okay. I was reading a statement by the French bishops. And of course, they say, well, no, it was terrible. But they always begin by saying something which is supposed to assuage people who may disagree with them. Because, you know what? Church people are afraid to stand up to the world. That's why. And to begin, so many other beautiful things took place. It was so outstanding in so many ways, the presentations that were performed prior to the Olympic Games. Except this one little thing, that was not good. You know what that's like saying? Oh, the water was delicious. We only put one little drop of arsenic in it. That's all you need. That one little drop of arsenic is deadly. And that mockery went throughout the whole world. That was a mockery. It was a blasphemy. And every church and every synagogue should stand up and say, that was unacceptable.
The Olympic blasphemy of those opening ceremonies, in many ways, some people will say, why waste your time on something like that? There's more important things. But really, when it regards blasphemy, there is nothing more important to address. In those opening ceremonies, there was witness of worshiping of a golden calf, in a sense, genitalia, mockery of the Last Supper, and of the horsemen from the book of Revelation. Drag queens, one of whom wore a crown that really resembled a monstrance, were seated at the table in the exact positions and angles of the 12 apostles of Da Vinci's painting. There was an indication of a sexual threesome, of a sexual act that was about to happen when the skit ended in the French National Library. A nude singer appeared in the middle of a fruit basket to represent Dionysus, ancient Greece's god of wine, with the Olympic Games official profile saying that the depiction made us aware of the absurdity of violence between human beings. Yes, this is a good thing, but there are many other ways to do it. Another scene depicted a singer impersonating the decapitated body of Queen Marie Antoinette. You know that she was not a bad person, but is villainized along with many other Catholics after the French Revolution. In fact, after the French Revolution, they drug prostitutes into Notre Dame, the blasphemy, mockery of God. France, we pray. She is losing her way. France is the eldest daughter of the church. Paris is the city of the saints. I just mentioned Thomas Aquinas. He studied in Paris. There was not a horseman from the Apocalypse, the book of Revelation, but there was a horsewoman dressed in armor, perched on a metal horse. Now, at first, many thought this was Saint Joan of Arc from the city of saints of Paris. But according to the organizers themselves, it represented Sequana, the Celtic divinity who inhabited the Seine, the river, and is a symbol of resistance.
I'm sure most of us have heard or seen the outrage that was sparked by the opening ceremonies of the Paris Olympics a couple of days ago. I spent all day yesterday rewriting my sermon to address it because I got a lot of phone calls and text messages. It really bothered a lot of people. So many people were upset with it. Some were obviously Christians feeling that the display, and you can see it there on the screen, you know, like it was a group of drag queens or transgender people who were imitating the Lord's Supper. The response was, no, that's not what it is. It was, Greek gods. There's a famous painting of Bacchanalia with Dionysios, the Greek god of wine, and that's why he was in the guy in blue was in this, whatever, drinking wine, eating grapes and all that kind of stuff. And it caused a lot of outrage, and a lot of people didn't really, weren't comfortable with it, to say the least. It's a funny thing. Let's just be honest about it. I mean, we all know what it is, right? We all know what it is and what was intended. And, Christians were suffering. I got a lot of, people reaching out who were Christians. It was like it hurt them. And I thought about it, and I said, this isn't the first time that this has happened, right? I mean, The Simpsons did it, right? They were in a bar drinking beer. The Sopranos did it, right? They even had bread and wine on the table. MASH did it. Some TV show with a hot chick in a red dress did it. I don't know what show that is. I don't know what it was, but it was there. Lost did it. Remember that show, Lost? That was a great TV show. South Park did it, and of course, for those of us who are a little older, it is, reminiscent that Mel Brooks did it, right? So, I mean, we, in the History of the World, Part 1. This type of imagery is designed to elicit a response. You do get that, right? I mean, the whole point of it is that it is designed to elicit an emotional reaction within you, outrage, right? I mean, it's all the thing today. It's the outrage world we live in. I mean, you can see it, right? I mean, just go to your news feeds on social media, and you can see outrage on one side or the other. So if we're not really supposed to be feeling this outrage, how should we feel? What do we do to respond? I'm going to have an interesting thought here I want to put forward to you. How should we feel? Excited. I was so thrilled that they did that. And I'll tell you why. People are looking at me like, Father Chris, what are you talking about, right? Like, what do you mean you're excited? I'm excited because it taught me something. It showed me, it exposed their fear. This blatantly corrupt theology of wokeism is deathly afraid. It is self-consuming. Do you understand that? Like, think about it. You do not attack something that you are not afraid of.
I want to change gears, but I promise you it all fits together. It all fits together. And if you haven't been told this, let me tell you, okay? Let me tell you. So we're having the Olympics, right? Say, yes, Father Mike, we're having the Olympics, yes. And so they had the Olympic opening ceremony, right? And they chose whoever they is, they, whoever they are. You got to get a joke there. They chose to make a central component of the Olympic ceremony the blaspheme, the Last Supper. They chose to have a drag show and Jesus as a transvestite and to mock the Christian faith, the central act of our worship. Now, I'm sure there are many French people who are outraged at this. I don't know who they is. But I do know that, they asked somebody, why did you choose to mock the Last Supper? Why did you choose to mock the Mass? And they said, oh, no, we didn't. No, there was no mockery. We didn't mock the Last Supper. Now, if you take a look at the picture, then you'll know that the devil is both a liar and a murderer, okay? And so they just lie about it and lie about, oh, no, that's not what we were doing, but it's absolutely undeniable. Now, my brothers and sisters, here we are, and we understand that blasphemy, what is blasphemy? It is to take something sacred, something of holiness, something beautiful, something good, something of God. It is to disparage it.
This is Bishop Barron. A few days ago I did a video complaining about this outrageous opening ceremony at the Olympics, and the video went viral. And frankly, I had no intention of returning to the issue until this morning. I saw the so-called apology from the organizing committee, and I thought it's anything but an apology. In fact, it's kind of a masterpiece of woke duplicity. And so I just wanted to say a few things, because if they felt this is meant to mollify Christians, I would think again. Here's some of the things that were said. Clearly, there was never an intention to show disrespect to any religious group. Give me a break. So we have a group of drag queens cavorting in a kind of sexually provocative way, clearly an imitation of Da Vinci's Last Supper, which presents to the world the Last Supper of Jesus. And no disrespect was meant. You think anyone takes that seriously? I love this. We tried to celebrate community tolerance. Yeah, tolerance. Except for those pesky 2.6 billion Christians on the planet. Everyone's welcome, everyone's tolerated, all this lovely diversity, until you get to anyone that disagrees with your ideology, like these 2.6 billion people. So don't give me this business about tolerance and diversity. And then we believe this ambition, celebrating tolerance, was achieved. Well, I wonder what planet they're living on if they think that harmony and peace and all this was achieved by this clear affront to Christians. And then at the very end, a standard bit of condescension. If people have taken any offense, we're truly sorry. In other words, if you're so simple-minded and stupid to have been offended by this wonderful expression of French culture, well, we're sorry about that. Christians were offended because it was offensive, and it was intended to be offensive. So please don't patronize us with this condescending remark about, well, if you had any, bad feelings, we're awfully sorry about that. Again, if people think this is somehow going to mollify people all over the Christian world who are outraged by what happened, I would recommend thinking again. And a real apology would be something like, this was a mistake, it should never have been done, and we're sorry for it. I don't think Christians should be mollified. I think we should keep raising our voices.